Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. I'm your host Talia. Welcome to the BS level biology program under the subject code 4401. So students, are you ready for the lesson? Yes, I'm sure you definitely would be. So let's welcome our expert. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Sir, what's the topic under discussion today?
Talia, today we are going to discuss some of the exception to the Mendelian principle. Up till now we have gone with all the traits which were either dominant or recessive. But there are certain traits which are not going to follow Mendelian principles. Like in case of Japanese 4 o'clock flower, if we cross the red flower with the white flower, so it is neither red nor white. A new trait, pink color, is going to appear. So this is not going to follow the Mendelian rules. So under today's program's title, we are going to discuss interaction of the genes, dominance relationship, that is, sometimes it is the incomplete dominance, sometimes this is the co-dominance. Some of the traits are controlled by multiple alleles, and you can say in the end we are going to have a concept of jumping genes. The genes are going to move from one location to others. So these are the main features of our today's program. Going with our slideshow. So dominance relationship or interaction of the genes or allelic interactions. These are exceptions to the Mendelian principles. So there are some alleles, they are neither dominant nor recessive, and many traits, they are controlled by more than one gene, and these are called as polygenic traits. So if we are going to go with the dominance relations, so this is a complete dominance we have discussed in our last program. Today we are going to discuss incomplete dominance, co-dominance, over-dominance, and multiple allelic characters. Complete dominance, just a review, we have already gone. Let's say if we cross with a purple flower and the white flowers, so all of these are purple. So purple is completely dominant over white. But in case of incomplete dominance, a situation is there in which neither allele is dominant. When both alleles are present, a new, the word new is very important, a new phenotype appears, that is a blend of each allele. Alleles will be represented by capital letters only, and if we are going to go with the example of Japanese 4 o'clock flowers, so red flower plants, they are pure if they are having the self-pollination always giving us the red flower. White flowers, they are also pure if self-pollinated, they always give the white flowers. But if the red flowers are crossed with white, so this is not the red or white, but a new phenotype, pink flowers are going to appear, and that will be having a gene combination of capital R and W. So a third new phenotype appears in heterozygous condition in case of incomplete dominance. So red flower crossed with white, so this is a pink phenotype which is going to appear. What happens when a red flower is crossed with the white flowers? So according to Mendel, either some white and some red, or all offspring either red or white should be there, but all of these are pink. So this is the combination. So these alleles for red flowers are going to segregate, alleles for white, they are going to segregate, and all of these are heterozygous, and in the heterozygous state, so this is a new situation. But what is the outcome if we are going to cross a pink flower with white? So the situation will be 50% will be pink and 50% will be white, and there will be a genotypic ratio of 1 to 1. Half of them will be heterozygous and half of them will be homozygous recessive, and phenotypically, so 2 of them will be pink and 2 of them will be white, so that is a ratio of 1 to 1. So going to go with the situation of the co-dominance, how the co-dominance is different from incomplete dominance. When 2 alleles both appear in the phenotype, and these are usually written in the form of superscripts. Let's say if C is the gene and R is for the red hairs. C is the gene for color, so that is concerned with the red hair, and W for white hairs. So if both of these, they are giving half of the hairs, that is red and half white, and this combination of red and white is called as roan. So both the alleles are going to exert their influence, or in case of Japanese 4 o'clock, if we are going to go that half petal is red and half white, then this is the case of codominance. In case of codominance, so both the alleles are going to exert their influence and they retain their genotypes. So in case of codominance, so there are three phenotypes which are there. Let's say, going with the example of sickle cell anemia, that is a genetic disease of hemoglobin of the red blood cell. Hemoglobin is normally a ball shaped molecule. The sickle cell alleles make it from a long strand, in the form of a long strand. The red blood cells carrying these molecules, they distort in shape and they are unable to carry oxygen. So this is a normal blood picture. All of these are the normal RBCs, and in case of the sickle cell anemia, so these RBCs, they become elongated and they are of the shape of sickle. So that is the, and they are unable to carry the oxygen properly. Now in case of heterozygous state, some of these normal RBCs are also there, and some of these sickle cell RBCs, they are also there, because both the alleles, they are going to show their effects. If we discuss the genetics of sickle cell anemia, the shape of hemoglobin molecule is controlled by the two alleles. So normal hemoglobin allele and sickle cell hemoglobin alleles, and there are three phenotypes. The normal individual, which is having both the normal hemoglobin allele, and sickle cell anemia, a severe form where all the red cells, they are affected, and sickle cell anemia patients, they will be having two sickle cell alleles in their genotype. And third possibility is, that is the carrier person. Carrier will not be having the disease, that is going to manage a reasonable life, but that is going to pass the trait to the next generation. So they will be having a mild condition where 50% of the red blood cells are affected, and these sickle cell trait are, they are having the heterozygous state and they are the carriers. In case of codominant, we are going to have the symbols in the form like that, that both alleles are expressed in the heterozygote form in the capital letters, and superscript or index letter identifies the alleles. Normal hemoglobin allele is written as HB with the word superscript N, and sickle cell is written as HB with the superscript S. So these are the genotypes. This is a normal person having both the normal allele, normal hemoglobin will be there. This person is heterozygous, that will be the carrier, and we are using that not suffering from disease, and that is called as to have a sickle cell trait. And if both of these, they are the diseased alleles are there for sickle cell, then it will be a severe condition, that is called as sickle cell anemia. These peoples, they are unable to compete the stress and strain of life. So again, if we are going to make a cross of a carrier person with the carrier person, if there is a marriage between the two carrier persons, like we have discussed previously in our last lecture, that the cousin marriages are not recommended. Why? Because if they are carrier, both of the cousins, they will be normal. But once a combination is going to occur in this form, so one of their child will be 100% normal, two of the childs, they will be the carrier and they will be having the trait, and one of the child, they will be that will be suffering from the disease. So 25%, 50% and 25%, that is 1:1 ratio will be there, one normal, one sufferer and two carriers will be there. In case of this heterozygous condition, so both alleles are expressed equally, like this is a normal person, this is a sickle cell persons, and this is a heterozygous. In the heterozygous, so 50% of RBC, they will be normal, and 50% of RBC, they will be sickle cell or shape of half of the moon. So this will be a sick person having the disease, and both of these person, they will be having a normal life. If we are going to show the cross between one of the carrier and one of the sufferer, let's say the father is the carrier and mother is suffering from the disease, then what is the situation? The situation will be like that, that two of their offspring that will be suffering from the disease, and two of the offspring they will be the carrier. So there will be 1:1 genotypic and 1:1 phenotypic ratio will be there.
So what is the main difference between incomplete dominance and codominance?
Yes, there is a confusion to many students for both of these conditions, and even in certain books both of these conditions are mentioned under the same heading with the slash in the middle. The main difference which is there between incomplete and codominance is, in case of incomplete dominance, a new trait is going to appear intermediate between the two actual traits. While in case of codominance, both the original traits, they are being retained in the individuals. So this is the main difference. In case of incomplete dominance, appearance of a totally new different trait, while in case of complete dominance, two original traits, both of the alleles they are at the equal level, they are going to have equal effect. So this is the main difference. There is another condition, students, of multiple allelic trait. Up till now we have just discussed a trait controlled by two alleles, either complete dominant or incomplete dominant or codominant. But there are certain traits which are controlled by more than two alleles. These are called as multiple allelic trait, and our blood grouping is one of the very important trait which is controlled by three alleles. So going with our slide presentation, multiple allelic traits, individual can have up to two alleles for a single gene, that is the diploid or homologous chromosomes are there, but there are certain multiple alleles which are going to control many traits. The terminology of multiple alleles applies when three or more alleles of the same gene are present in a population. Any gene can be modified in multiple ways. Each unique change produces a different allele, but not necessarily different phenotype. So classical example is our ABO blood group system. So this multiple allele inheritance is there where more than two alleles are there, and in case of our human blood types, so there are three alleles which are there. A and B alleles, they are codominant to each other. So if they are present, both of these are going to show their effect. But both A and B alleles, they are fully dominant, completely dominant over the allele O. So what should be the combination? Let's say this is the individual having blood group A. So that will be having allele IA, and these are in the form, these alleles are going to produce antigens, and this antigen is present on the surface of RBC. So if an individual is going to have this antigen A, we are going to say that the individual is going to have blood group A. And if the individual is going to have allele B, and allele B is going to manufacture a antigen that is called as type B antigen present on the surface RBC, it is different in shape than A. So if the B antigen is present, then we are going to say that this individual is having the blood group B. And if both of these antigens are present in an individual, then we are going to say that the person is going to have blood group A and B. So this is the antigen A and this is the both these are present. And if none of this antigen is present, so then we are going to say that individual is going to have no antigen present on the surface of RBC, and this person will be having blood group O. 6 different genotypes, they are possible with these 3 alleles. So patient or person may be having I capital A, that is the homozygous dominant, or may be having AB in case of AB blood group, or IB, that is homozygous dominant form. Then A and B can be there in the heterozygous form, IB and small I, that is the inactive allele is present, or similarly the heterozygous A will be there, or this is the individual that will be going to have both the recessive allele, and that is going to have the blood group O. So these are the 6 possibilities. This is the actually the RBCs. if this antigen A is present, two possibilities are there. The individual is homozygous dominant or individual is heterozygous. Again, in case of blood group B, so two possibilities are there, individual is homozygous dominant or heterozygous. But in case of AB, only one possibility is there, that individual is having both the alleles and individual is heterozygous. While in case of blood group O, only one possibility is there, that individual is homozygous recessive. How common are the different types of blood groups? So, blood group O is the commonest one with 45% individual, 40% individuals they are having blood group A, and 11% are going to have blood group B, and AB is one of the rare, that is having only 4% of our population is going to have blood group AB. So, solving some of the problems with the multiple allelic form, let us say if an individual with blood group O is going to marry a person which is going to have blood group AB, then what is the possibility of blood groups in the offspring? So, here this individual will be having blood group A, this will also have A, this is the B and this is the B. So, if a marriage is there between a father having the blood group O, mother having the blood group AB, then the genotypically there is 1:1 ratio of heterozygous and heterozygous, and phenotypically there is 1:1 ratio, 50% of the offspring will be having blood group A and 50% will be having blood group B. Going with the second, let us say a cross between a mother who is heterozygous for blood group B and a father who is heterozygous for blood group A. In this case, so all the variety of blood groups they will be present in the offspring. So, 25% of the offspring will be having blood group AB, 25% will be having blood group B, 25% will be having blood group A, and 25% will be having blood group O. So, there will be 1:1:1:1 ratio. 4 individual, all of these 4 they will be having different blood groups. How we are going to test the blood groups? So, we are going to mix certain antibodies with our blood. If the blood remains normal like that, so we are going to say that antigen is absent in that, and if the blood is going to clump, that is going to clot, we are using the word agglutination for that, it means that antigen is present. There are certain traits which are controlled by multiple alleles, more than 3, 4, 5, many alleles are present for these, and among these, so the two important traits which are there, human height and eye color and skin color of individuals, they are controlled by multiple trait. Dear students, there is another important concept, that is of jumping genes. There are certain genes which are going to change their position within our genomes. So, these genes are also called as transposable elements, or the process of this change of position is called as transposition. So, having some of the concept about that from the slideshow. So, these jumping genes called as transposable elements, they were discovered by one of the scientists, Barbara, and she was offered a Nobel Prize on this discovery of jumping gene in 1983. So, previously we are having the orthodox fact that the genes have fixed position on the chromosome, and these positions are stable over the life of an organism. So, this was the idea previously, but this Barbara actually discovered transposition, and this discovery established the fact that genes can change the position on the chromosome, and their change in position changes their expression in their phenotypes or in the appearance of their traits. What a jumping gene is? Segment of genome that are capable of moving around to different location. Transposable elements usually are followed by or flanked by a repeated sequence. Often they carry transposase gene that confer the transposition ability of these segments. Two basic types of transpositions are there. One is called as conservative transposition. An element leaves one location and inserts in another location. it does not change overall copy number. The second variety of transposition is replicative transposition. A copy of transposable element is made and this inserts into a new place. This is the most common form of transposition. Let us say this is one of the transposable elements. This is the gene and this gene is there at this place. So, one possibility is that it can just move to this place. This is the movement from this place that have moved to this place. That is why it is called as a jumping gene. Or sometime the original will remain at the same place and one of the copy of this is made and that is inserted in another place. This is called as replicative. This is the area which can be a transposable element. So, this gene, this segment of DNA, it can move. So, if we are going to look at how it can move to the new location, so these are the enzymes which are going to cut it like that. Transposase enzymes are there and this is the gene which is going to move and it is going to be there inserted in a new location. So, this was the change of position. Initially it was there here, now it have moved to this position. So, this is one way of transposition. Another way of transposition is transposition or movement from one chromatid to another chromatid. And how it is possible? So, looking at this animation, this is the segment. So, these are going to break like that and then they are being reinserted in the form like that, that the lower segment is going to attach at the upper segment and the upper segment is going to attach at the lower segment. So, this is the transposition of gene from one chromatid to other chromatid. Going with this animation, that how the actual process of transposition is going to occur. So, this is one of the plasmid which is going to have this gene which can be inserted into another location. So, this is called as transposon and this is the area where it can come. So, this plasmid is going to enter within the bacterial cell and this is the insertion of the gene at this place. So, again this is the location of gene in this place. Now, this part can also jump from this place to another part. So, these genes, they are constantly moving. So, they can replicate. Here the replication of this gene is there. So, it is going to move and get attached to some other location. Other genes may be going to come and they are going to move, make the copies and they can be inserted and some of these plasmids may carry these genes outside the cell. In this animation, the process of transposition is again shown in a slightly different format. So, transposition is the movement of genetic elements called as transposon between plasmid or between the genomes. So, shown in this animation is a mechanism of replicative transposition. Transposition is flanked by inverted repeat sequence and consists of several genes. One of these genes encodes the transposase enzymes. So, this is the gene transposase gene and that is going to make the, you can say, the insertion point, creating an insertion point over the basically the region where it is being required. So, this gene is, this is the enzyme, transpose enzyme, that is going to cut down the site where the gene is going to be inserted, and this is the new gene which are being inserted in this format. Dear student, so this was the process of jumping of gene. The genes are going to change the location from one point to another, and as a result of this they are going to change the character of the individual, external appearance of organism or phenotype of individuals. Okay, that's all for today.
Thank you so much, sir, for such an enticing and alluring lecture.
Welcome.
So students, now I would like to sum up today's lecture for you. Today we discussed about codominance, incomplete dominance, complete dominance, multiple allelic traits like blood groups, and finally we discussed about the jumping gene allele. I hope that today's lecture was clear, comprehensive and informative, and we have managed to create successfully new horizons of thought for you. Now I'll sign off from the program. See you in the next program with more interesting biological facts. Till then, take care and Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.